weddings are full of surprises, forgotten vows, unexpected rain, even a runaway ring bearer. But no one at this wedding was prepared for the tiny, muddy intruder who wobbled down the aisle like he owned the place. For a moment, there was stunned silence. Then, laughter rippled through the crowd as the tiny, mud-covered puppy plopped himself right in front of the altar, wagging his tail like he was exactly where he was meant to be. The bride and groom exchange amused glances. Should they shoo him away or let him stay? Enter Max, the towering Great Dane and the official ring-bearer, who had been trained to sit still and behave. Max stared down at the little intruder, ears perked, unsure whether this was a guest or a snack. The puppy, undeterred, barks at Max, his tiny yaps completely ineffective but full of confidence. Max backs away, confused, as the puppy playfully nips at his tail. The guests chuckle, but the puppy still looks lost, as if searching for something or someone. Despite his muddy fur and unexpected arrival, something about him felt right. But no one realized yet just how much this little wedding crasher was about to change everything. The ceremony carried on, but the little puppy wasn't done making an impression. As the couple exchanged vows, he trotted around, sniffing bouquets and playfully nudging the guests' feet. Some guests tried to ignore him, but others couldn't help but smile at his boldness. When the bride bends down to adjust her dress, the puppy sees his chance. He wobbles over and places a tiny, muddy paw right on her pristine white gown. Gasps, laughter, a horrified wedding planner. But instead of frustration, the bride laughs, a deep, genuine laugh that breaks the formal tension of the day. She picks him up, mud and all, and he licks her cheek as if to say, "Congrats, you're my family now." Max, the giant Great Dane, watches this unfold, his tail slowly starting to wag. When the puppy flops onto the grass in exhaustion, Max finally gives in. He steps forward, lowers his massive head, and gives the tiniest nudge with his nose. The puppy freezes, then lets out a happy squeal before jumping onto Max's paw. In that moment, the once-lost puppy wasn't just a wedding crasher, he was family. But no one knew just how much joy he was about to bring into their lives. From that day on, the little wedding crasher wasn't just a guest. He became the life of the party every single day. The once-lost puppy, now named Teddy, had officially moved in, and his new best friend Max took his role as a big brother very seriously. Well, sort of. Teddy loved to steal Max's toys, even ones bigger than him. He would grab Max's giant rope toy and drag it across the floor like a determined little warrior. Max, ever patient, would just watch in amusement before effortlessly lifting Teddy, rope and all, with his mouth. Teddy would dangle in mid-air, growling in protest, while Max casually carried him to the other side of the room. Their favourite game? Hide and seek. But Teddy had a cheat code. He was so tiny he could slip under couches, beds, and even inside laundry baskets. Max, on the other hand, was terrible at hiding. He'd crouch behind a chair, his massive body still completely visible, tail wagging furiously as Teddy ran around trying to find him. Teddy had one mission every morning, to wake up Max in the most annoying way possible. He'd bounce on his big brother's back, nibble his floppy ears, and even bark right into his face. Max, ever the gentle giant, would open one eye, sigh dramatically, and roll over as if saying, "5 more minutes, kid." But as soon as breakfast was served, Max would suddenly be wide awake, racing Teddy to the food bowls as if he hadn't just been pretending to sleep seconds ago. No matter what mischief Teddy got into, Max was always there, watching over him, playing with him, and making sure his little brother always had a friend. And even though their sizes were worlds apart, their hearts beat in perfect sync. Just when we thought Max and Teddy had settled into the perfect routine, something happened that shook things up completely. One evening, While playing in the backyard, Teddy suddenly stopped in his tracks, ears perked up. From the other side of the fence, a tiny shivering kitten peeked through the bushes. She was frail, covered in dust, and clearly lost, just like Teddy had been on that wedding day. Max, ever the protector, stood tall, his deep brown eyes filled with curiosity. Teddy, however, was instantly obsessed. He bounced over to the kitten, wagging his tail so hard he nearly toppled over. He let out a high-pitched bark as if saying, "Hey, you're tiny, like me. We should totally be best friends." The kitten, not impressed. She let out a tiny but fierce hiss and swatted at Teddy's nose. Teddy yelped dramatically, then immediately tried again. Max simply sighed, watching as his little brother tried and failed to win over the stubborn feline. Teddy wasn't giving up, and little did we know, this kitten was about to change all of our lives in the most unexpected way. Over time, the tiny stubborn kitten, now named Luna, slowly warmed up to Teddy's relentless love. Max, the once serious protector, found himself watching over not one, but two little mischief makers. Their home was no longer just a peaceful retreat. It was a place filled with playful chases, tiny paw fights, and unexpected cuddles. Teddy, once a lost and lonely pup, had found his purpose, being the best big, tiny brother to Luna. Max, the gentle giant, had learned patience, love, and the joy of letting his guard down. And Luna? She had discovered that maybe, just maybe, love wasn't such a bad thing after all. Watching them together, I realized something incredible. Friendships don't have to make sense. They don't have to look alike or even start off perfectly. Sometimes the best connections come from the most unexpected places. Teddy crashed our wedding and found a family. Max opened his heart to a tiny ball of energy. And Luna, well, she decided to love in her own way, on her own terms. If this story made you smile, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe for more heartwarming animal tales. And remember, sometimes the best friendships come when you least expect them.